gotta go. I'll get my car. I brought mine. Yours. I gotta get me one of those.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Batdane's Discussions. And boy, we have a great show tonight. Some stuff with the Paramount merger, maybe not going Ellison's way, and some up and down news about DC Studios. So we have a lot to discuss today, and I'm really excited to have this guy on again who was on last week, and now he's making a full camera appearance. I'm sure a lot of you haven't seen him. I mean, for a while, I know he said he was live before, but a lot of my viewers, this is the first time you're seeing him live. A lot of people in the Syndicate Network. So please welcome as I bring on Smackey. How are you, man?
Yo, how's it going, guys?
And he doesn't look like a logo, guys. He doesn't look like a logo.
Yeah, I'm not a frog.
I always do that, like even with Leon, it was the longest thing. Like I would only saw him in logo format, so some of the few times I've seen him without the logo, or actually I've also met him in person too. It's like, wow, you're not like a logo with like stick figure logo arms and legs or something like that. You're an actual.
Wait, you met Leon?
Yeah,
He's
Skywalker.
not Batman.
No, he's not Batman. No, maybe I should be careful about saying that in case he's watching.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
But yeah, I'm really excited to have you on the channel, and really honored that my stream's the first time in a long time that you're on camera.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Last show was great. I'm really excited for this one today too. And trying to pull up DC Talk's comment here. There we are. What up, DC Talk? StreamYard can be very slow sometimes when you try to pull something up, but let's get right to it, and we're going to get back to a section that I haven't done in the last live stream, but I think it's a good one to get back to. Zack Snyder's Instagram post. So this is when I go over Zack Snyder's newest Instagram post, because, one, it covers some of his new photos of his new movie, The Last Photograph, and also reaffirms Zack Snyder's interest in DC. I mean, he does a lot of photos of DC lately for a guy who's no longer interested.
Right.
But we'll see. And I can't believe I did this again. I did this last week. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, God. So, how's everyone doing? Batdan will be back in a minute. As you can see, I am actually a DC fan. I know the internet will try to tell you that Snyder fans are not DC. It's hard to believe, but we actually are. As you can tell, I don't have my comic book collection, but it is here somewhere.
I love that Flash poster. I saw that when we were zoomed up.
Yeah, that's actually my ex fiance. Her sister um, used to work on the show. Well, she used to work. They're from Vancouver, and her boyfriend used to work on all the shows. And she went around and got all of the actors, but a certain one by the name of Stephen Amell signed it.
Wow, what a shocker!
Who could have seen that coming?
I'm going to say it before, and I'll say it again. Stephen Amell is very full of himself. He is
Mhm.
way too full of himself.
Yep. He's kind of a dick.
Like, not surprised there. And actually, fun fact, I actually got into what up, Sin Havoc? I actually got into an argument with Stephen Amell when I was in college.
Really?
Yeah, so he went after a YouTuber. I don't watch this YouTuber anymore, but this was back in college, about 10 years ago. No.
That's when I got the poster. Was when I was in college, 10 years ago.
So 10 years ago, I was in college. I will admit to being more of a drinker back then. And I got angry at Stephen Amell for going after a YouTuber because I'm like, you're an actor. And now you just basically got a bunch of people to attack this YouTuber. And I called him out on it. And Stephen Amell
Mhm.
didn't take accountability. He basically went, and it really disturbed me. I'm like, and it's just crazy. It's like you're giving into this toxic fandom, and you went after you went after a YouTuber, like someone who has a much smaller platform than you. Like, I don't have a big platform. Okay, I'm not, but even me, I wouldn't want to use my platform to attack someone else.
Right.
So the fact that Stephen Amell did that to me, it was very low of him. And yeah, no shit, he's a bum.
No,
So
I'm not surprised that you got into an argument with him, and not only that, I've got a few stories about him. So
yeah,
yeah.
well, we'll definitely have to sprinkle those in over time
Mm.
because if we do that, we're gonna be here. This is
Mhm.
gonna take over the entire stream.
Yeah.
But let's start with some Zack Snyder Instagram posts right now, which I will say to transition us what people think of when they think of DC. Don't tell Stephen Amell that. So the last post we covered was this one. So now we're gonna start here.
That's a good catch.
Show Kurt Russell a cameo. I'm trying. Okay, I don't want to play the video because I don't know what I'll be copyright with. But
True.
should Kurt Russell make a cameo in Zack Snyder's Escape from New York? Yeah, why not?
Mhm.
Then just watched the trailer for Baby Do Die Do and loved it. The film looks incredible, ambitious, cinematic, and incredibly well crafted. Having worked with Huma before, it's a great to see her delivering another wonderful performance. Really like that, seeing Zack Snyder show respect for like his colleagues and that he's worked with in previous projects.
Right. Yeah.
Or
He
that it
always gives a
is.
lot.
Oh, go on.
No, I'm just saying he always gives out, love and appreciation for everybody that he works with. It's amazing.
Yeah, like even like Wonder Woman 1984, even though it wasn't the best movie, I still had great respect for Snyder showing such support for the movie to respect Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot. I know Zack Snyder was a producer of that movie, but I feel like that was just more like of a credited position than an actual like project he worked on. He's also a producer of the Suicide Squad, technically too.
Yeah, technically.
And then,
Yeah, I think that's the trailer for the movie.
okay. Yeah, okay. I don't want, like I said, don't want to show the videos because I don't know where that will get me, this channel. But look at this, the last photograph. I'm really, I guess, what's your thoughts on the last photograph so far?
So I need to go back and watch the stream you did with Cozy. Where was it your birthday stream? Where you guys talked about backrooms, or was that a different stream?
That was a different stream. That was after
Okay,
my birthday stream.
okay, because I just watched the backrooms, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because have you ever heard of a House of Leaves? Uh, I think you went mute. Oh, I can't hear anything. What the hell?
Oh, it's because I muted my mic to drink water. I have not seen it, and Sin Havoc will say homework for me.
Oh no. So House of Leaves is a book, um, and it's very much the inspiration for stuff like SCP or the Backrooms. Trying to think of other things. But essentially everything that we're seeing now that's going on in terms of a lot of the sort of like oppressive nature in media, like the whole grand scope of the backrooms, I think, is because of something like House of Leaves. And I think the last photograph is going to have this very psychedelic, almost oppressive nature to it. And seeing this photograph right here, I think is sort of indicative of that. Because
You
what
know,
the hell is going on?
yeah, I could totally see that. I could honestly totally see that. Like, now, granted, if I had to guess, I think that's well, not real cocaine, but I think that's like the movie cocaine all over
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah,
But yeah,
I think they're going to get high at some point.
oh yeah, it's a drug bust movie, definitely. Even if it's not intentional. Like I'm just saying, like if you're trying to stop a criminal and like cocaine gets spilled all over you,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I think you would get high off that, but I'm not 100% sure. I've lived a very sheltered life with that stuff.
Yeah, I've never done it, but I've heard that like skin absorption does kind of work. I don't know though.
Oh, interesting. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to see it, and I like that Zack Snyder posts pictures of the last photograph because I'm really excited for this movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the UFC movie, I've said before, that's a movie I'm gonna watch for Zack Snyder. That's not one that I myself am excited for, other than it being Zack Snyder. But like this movie right here, and that's just no shade to the UFC movie, just just a genre that I've never got into. That's all.
Yeah,
But this one, this is something I'm really excited to see. Like I think this was gonna be like I'm really gonna enjoy this movie. So yeah, can't
yeah.
wait.
I'm the same way. This is the thing I'm looking forward to the most from him.
And now look at this though. While Wonder Woman has always been an icon, I'm incredibly proud to have played a role in bringing her to life for the first time on the big screen, where her story could inspire a new generation, and even Gal Gadot, forever grateful.
Hmm. And we saw when this was posted too, right?
Right, when this was like posted, didn't Gunny Poo post something or about Wonder Woman or Supergirl or something?
Well, I think this was right around the time Supergirl released, so I think that
Okay.
yeah, that's
Perfect timing.
yeah.
And like, you get David Ayer who apologized for endorsing a training event the day Creature Commandos premiered, whereas Zack Snyder was like, I ain't playing nice.
It's I I've said it. I said it to everyone because I've made no qualms about it. Like I used to be a part of that side of the fandom and was talking directly to people who were talking to David Ayer and we're like, tell him not to apologize. Tell him, like, no, this is not what you do. And they're like, no, you've got to go make it. You got to go make a statement. Meanwhile, here's Zack Snyder, who's actually gotten his movie released. And what is he doing the very same weekend Supergirl drops?
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Because here's the thing. Gunny Poo shot down the chance for the Cyberverse to return. You don't need to give him respect like this. Like, I have a hot take that a lot of people may not like. I respected David Ayer the first time he did this with the Suicide Squad. And to me, you get to do that one time.
Yeah.
And I am under the belief that if everyone had followed what David Ayer had asked for, the turning event would have been just as strong. I do firmly believe that. But you get to do that once.
Yep.
Doing it after that, I can't really respect. And at the time, Gunny Poo had not done anything to David Ayer, to Zack Snyder, so I wasn't really going to be... And I didn't really know I knew about the tweets, but I didn't know as much about the tweets, like how bad they really were. So I was kind of more in defense of Gunny Poo at that time, whereas now, not so much for any of those reasons.
Right.
Especially the tweets. That should have gotten him, barred from coming back, but that's a whole nother rant. But I will say, it's funny how people want to turn on Ezra Miller, who got cleared of his charges, yet support Gunny Poo.
Exactly.
But that's another rant. A Friday morning vibe with I'm bad at pronouncing names. I'm sorry, but you can see it right here. And Princess Issa commenting.
Oh, it is.
And look at... She comments a lot. She's very active on Zack Snyder's Instagram. And I'm guessing, I think this is from the last photograph, too?
Yeah, I don't know. And I also thought maybe, like, Herrera... See, I'm the same way. Like, Herrera Rogue Clayworks coffee cup. Like, I understand you've got to work with clay, but, like, could that also be, like, a possibility that he's, like, giving, an homage to his buddy, Clay Staub or not? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Zack's posts always have a double meaning. And then here it is. And I'm going to say this right now. I do not care that this is AI. Anyone who's trying to cancel Zack over using an AI post no, just stop. Just stop. But, because I saw that. I actually saw that from a really big platform, actually. Anyways.
My question is how do we know it's AI?
I don't know either, honestly. Like, I didn't think it was AI until... Okay, thank you, Sin Havoc. And I assume you're not referring to this post. I assume you're referring to...
What a twist.
This post. But still, though, I mean, like, this amazing... Like, on the 4th, out of everything, he chose to show this right here.
And it's clearly Henry Cavill.
Yes. Definitely Henry Cavill. Just saying, he could have just done a happy 4th post, but no, he chose to put the American hero in it, Superman.
Right.
Like, he's the American hero. Like, that's what, at least for DC, he is he is considered the American hero. Like, and that's actually why when I went to Six Flags on 4th of July, well, the day before, the first ride I did was Superman. Was the ride you told me you did not want to do backstage. Which, for context, we have clones of the same Superman ride at our local parks. But...
Right.
Well, who knows if they actually have to license with Peacock. I mean, we're not really going to talk about that today, but they may say screw the licensing and go another route to get the stuff. But nothing really new with that, so we're not really going to cover that today. But still, though, right here. And then another post with that American flag right behind it. And I think Go on.
I get mad when I see it. It's just like, it's perfection.
Oh, yeah. I know. Like, this right here is Superman. Hold on, was it? I am going to go back because there was something I wanted to show. There was something else I wanted to highlight. Was that? Okay, here we go. So this is our own Rebel Moon Theory commenting. That is awesome wallpaper. My wallpaper is the Jimmy cover for Rebel Moon House of Blood Axe issue 1 and Rebel Moon Bloodline.
Oh yeah.
And look who commented with heart emojis.
Let's fucking go. That's our dog.
Shout out to you, Rebel Moon. That he is. Shout out to you, Rebel Moon Theory. But yeah, I had to give him a quick shout out for that. And then another last photograph photo. Looks like he's being... I don't know, I don't see any scars. I just see tattoos, it looks like. I don't know what all those tattoos are going to be for. That's a lot of tattoos.
Mm-hmm. And he says, coming soon. Is that trailer?
So it'll be interesting.
Movie?
I need the trailer. I need to see the trailer.
Yeah, I need both. I need the 4K. I need the movie. I need the Blu-ray.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But one step at a time. But
yeah.
I want to also show one thing from Deborah Snyder's Instagram post.
Okay.
Because look what she did too. Happy 4th of July. Using that same horrible AI photo. I'm saying that very sarcastically so people... And Princess Issa, again.
That's what makes me think that it couldn't be, that it may not be AI, is that she had the source of the picture. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So, I mean, to be honestly, whether it's AI or not, to me, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm just saying it because, again, I'm not going to mention this person's name, and he's a big enough platform that I don't mind necessarily referring to him indirectly, but, like, why are you trying to cancel Zack Snyder for an AI post? But then you support James Gunn, who made of those horrible tweets. But
on top of that, Superman clearly had AI usage. Like, let's be real. The clown shoe is still in the movie. That was AI.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, but still, though, I mean, for a guy who's done with DC and definitely not returning anytime soon, he posts a lot of DC.
Mm-hmm. Every week.
Even like 4th of July. I mean, this is like an American holiday. He could have just posted a flag picture. Yet he chose to put Superman in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully a good company gets this. Hopefully... Hey, you know, even if Netflix gets this and gives us a theatrical release, because they do that still, contrary to what people may think. But...
And they have... isn't it supposed to be IMAX as well?
Probably. I think so, yeah. I mean, it's Zack Snyder, so I definitely think. So maybe not Netflix, but maybe, you know, maybe Universal or Warner Brothers, and whichever one, depending on where things go in the future, may end up with Netflix anyways. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, he's posted a lot of other DC pictures, so I don't know if it's really that. But now, you ready to get into the shit?
I'm always ready.
Jimmy Olsen finds Gorilla Grodd. So. Let's share this article. So. I don't know why we need a Jimmy Olsen spinoff series, honestly, but Jimmy Tatara circling major role in Jimmy Olsen's Superman spinoff series. So Jimmy Tataro is in talks to join live-action Superman spinoff series DC Crime in the role of Gorilla Grodd, the Flash villain who should not be in a Superman spinoff show. News arrives before Jimmy Olsen's series officially receives a green light. So, series has not received a green light yet, but DC describes the character as a hyper-intelligent telepathic ape who has sought to rule both simian and human worlds, though Flash has frequently thwarted his plans. Yeah, because that's what any DC fan knows about Gorilla Grodd.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's like you announce a Batman series and we describe Joker as this maniac clown who enjoys killing people and enjoys squirting people with laughing gas and challenging Batman. Yeah, no shit, that's the character.
Right.
But HBO Max and DC declined to comment. Wait, DCS? What's DCS?
DC Studios?
No, DC Studios. Okay. Probably. I don't. But DC Crime is billed as being akin to a true crime docu-series with Jimmy Olsen from Superman hosting, played by Skylar. Okay, summer blockbuster is kind of a strong word, but season 1 will reportedly be centered around DC bad guy Gorilla Grodd, who often wrestles with the Flash. Grodd has psychic powers and other skills after his encounter with an alien spaceship. The character was created in 1959 and has even starred in former DC's Arrowverse. Yeah, the universe with cocky Stephen Amell in it. But
yeah, make
truth
America
is,
Grodd again.
oh god, I remember that. Yeah, that was hilarious. But it's funny because I think they advertised that when he was in Legends of Tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and he had Wally West in the show at the time, and the two of them don't interact at all.
Yep.
It seemed like a huge miss right there. Like how okay, how do you do that? You literally had okay, we're gonna get on another rant if we do that, but that would not surprise me. But I mean, to me, could the actor do well? Maybe. Why are we doing this series? Like, why are we doing this series? Why are we doing Grodd in a Jimmy Olsen show? Like, I don't even know why we need this series, honestly. That's more my issue than anything.
I think, it may have been either the space. I think you may have been there, or it might have been one of Sky's stream or whatever, and they somebody was hitting on it, but at the end of the day, I think somebody said something obviously guns have dirt on somebody, and I think that's part of the truth, obviously. But I also think that there is something to the effect of where if they create a version of the character, they then are able to get a cut of whatever profit is made or something. I don't know, because
you're not wrong. I've heard that too. I think that's why I think Zack Snyder owns his versions of Wonder Woman, and because Zack Snyder cast Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, so he owns that version of Wonder Woman. Right. Even when she's in Wonder Woman in 1984. So, I mean, again, I don't know exactly how it all works, but I think you're right. But what I find really interesting about the article, though, is that there are certain key things here that are being said. See, this is where you got to read between the lines, which a lot of people don't. So, the news arrives before Jimmy Olsen's series has officially received the green light, which is interesting. HBO Max and DC Studios declined to comment. That's also interesting. So,
can we go back, because you remember And I know that he's just gonna like, you know, weasel his way out of it. But like James Gunn said, first of all, the only person that's ever going to cast someone in a show is either going to be the director or the lead of the series, as in like the TV. Uh, what do you call the head of a TV series?
Executive producer.
Executive producer or the show lead or whatever. They are going to be the one that
Showrunner.
showrunner. Thank you. Right. They're going to be the one that casts people. Full stop. It's never just going to be James Gunn, and that they will never cast anyone without having a script, and they will never greenlight something without having a proper script. And now you notice all of that has been thrown out the window because what happened with Millie Alcock? She got hired before the script was finished. What's happening with this show? It hasn't been greenlit yet. Yet we already got Gorilla Grodd.
Not to overly defend Gunny Poo, but one thing I will say, she was technically in the Superman movie, so he did have a bit of a loophole there.
But that goes back to how do you.
Unless that was a reshoot, though.
I'm pretty sure that was a reshoot, even though he said there was not going to be any reshoots, and then it turned out they went back and did reshoots. And he said that he wasn't going to write during the writer's strike. He had to have written during the writer's strike.
Yeah. We don't officially know that, guys. I do want to make that clear. It's not officially known, but if I had to guess, he wrote during the writer's strike because it's weird because he was the writer and the directors weren't on strike. So it's like a weird, like how that works with like the writers and the directors. Like some stuff they can do, some stuff he can't do. So he did it while he was working on it as a director and just wrote a few things like that.
Right.
Like. Yeah, not surprised, but yeah, I just I just don't know why they're doing like another thing too is he's trying to like when this was also brought up on his face like when Hamada left when he was on his way out he greenlit so much stuff Wonder Twins Our Man like all of this stuff was greenlit
right
and then what happened when he left when he got the boot.
I haven't seen Wonder Twins. Have you?
Nope. So even Batgirl, which was filmed, didn't end up happening.
And we're still hearing about it today. Even J.K. Simmons brought it up recently.
Oh yeah. I saw a little bit of that. Wait, what? Wait, Andrew, are you talking about the Star Wars series #Justice for Fives? Are you talking about that show? Because I'll tell you this, I refused to watch season 2 once I found out Jimmy Smits was recast. When I saw that, I'm like, nope, we're done. I'm not even entertaining this.
Yeah, he would be alive during that time, wouldn't he?
Yeah, like Bail Organa's in the series as played by a different actor, and I'm like, nope, not watching this then. He could have just not had Organa in it if he was really unavailable. Wait, you're saying that Gunny Poo is the reason that Bail Organa was recast? Because if that's the case, I have another reason to hate Gunny Poo. But yeah, I mean, I feel like too he's doing this Jimmy Olsen series as he's trying to like as like a screw you to the Snyder fans because people love all these DC purists who never gave a shit about Jimmy Olsen before are like, why did Zack Snyder kill out Jimmy Olsen? And I have to wonder, is Gunny Poo doing this as a way to screw over those fans? Or as a screw you to Zack Snyder?
It feels like it's another slap in the face, yeah. And the thing is like I having this conversation the other night with Cozy and Cam because we were watching something and they were like, well, this character is clearly Superman and this character is Jimmy Olsen. And I'm like, that's not going to make me want to watch the show if you're saying this character is Jimmy Olsen, because like up until BVS, I didn't care about Jimmy Olsen. Like I'm sorry, but like I've never really cared about his character in any form of media. I just maybe Superman the animated series, like that's about it. Like even
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
comics growing up.
he wasn't even actually technically invented in the comics. I think he was like invented at some like radio show or
Yeah,
something.
he was. That's exactly right.
I mean, like I don't hate the character, but I'm not like, where's Jimmy Olsen? I mean, heck, you got Smallville did that stupid BS where it wasn't really Jimmy Olsen but his brother, but then Aaron Ashmore ended up playing Jimmy Olsen in the finale anyways.
Hmm. So I never finished Smallville, but yeah, I knew he was in it because I was a huge Animorphs fan growing up, and he played Jake, and I heard about him in that show. So I knew about him being Jimmy Olsen. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, even though he's
Yeah,
not like you said, he's not actually, but he's actually.
yeah, basically what it was. He was Jimmy Olsen, then they retconned it, but then they had that same actor play the younger brother grown up, so he ended up being Jimmy Olsen in the end. But then not only that though, what really irritated me is Jimmy Olsen dies in season 8. He and Lois have a friendship. Lois has There is no on-screen reaction, no acknowledgement whatsoever from Lois that Jimmy died, or I'm sorry, that Henry died. They decided that wasn't important to show. With all the stuff that they did together, they're like, yeah, we're gonna scrap that. That's not important.
Sometimes I hate the CW, man.
Mm-hmm. And Smallville was CW at that point, so
Yeah.
because it started out as the WB and then became CW. But yeah, I mean, point is, who really cares about Jimmy Olsen? And plus, Grodd is an expensive character because you have to do CGI and stuff. And I don't know if DC Studios has the budget to do a proper Grodd for the series.
No. No. Especially like I remember King Shark in the Flash season 2. Like that looked great for the time. But like HBO, okay, like going back to Sin Havoc was talking about like like sorry for anybody who's going to watch Lanterns, but like, uh, do you care, Bat Dan, about spoiling Lanterns?
Oh, no, go ahead. Is it out already?
No, but somebody's already verifiably leaked the spoiler for the show.
Oh, interesting.
They can't really even afford Kyle Chandler for more than one episode.
Oh, that's what Sin Havoc was talking about. Like, I thought he was, like, making a joke that he died in the first episode of Jimmy Olsen.
No,
Wow.
no, he dies in the first episode.
Oh, my. Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have the money. like like how are they going to he's going to be in a damn monkey costume at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or maybe they'll do what they did at Flash at certain points. Because I remember the Gorilla City, like when they were the two-parter where they're in Gorilla City and they have to.
Hmm.
Well, I guess then they're only in Gorilla City for part 1 because he invades in part 2.
Right.
But do you remember how there was a certain scene where instead of Grodd, he was mind controlling Cisco and Harrison and all these
Hmm.
people to talk to the characters? And I'm
Yeah.
watching this and like, they're obviously doing this to save money, so they don't have to CGI Grodd for that scene.
I'm again like so the same sister, she was just a background actress. Her boyfriend was a stunt man, and but to do extra work, he also did VFX. So I would go over to their house sometimes, and he would have a computer and he would be doing the VFX. And I remember one time when I went over there, I've probably told this story before, so I apologize. But like, he literally had a copy of ZSJL, and he's like, I can't show you what I'm working on, but it turned out it was Superman and Lois. This was before it was even announced. But then he was also working on the episode of like, uh, I want to say it was either Flash or Supergirl, and it was the episode where the guy was just going around going, "Give me my money," and then like he had like fireball powers, but he had like 3 days to do the VFX, so it was literally like he was just like putting a GIF on the screen of like a fireball where the guy's hands were, because that's all they could afford for that short turnaround. That's all they could do.
Okay.
That's
So
that's what they're working with.
yeah. So yeah, I don't think we're really gonna see this series. I mean, the fact that like they're mentioning that it hasn't even been greenlit yet. My guess is that with how Supergirl turned out, my guess is we're not really gonna get this series. You know, they're gonna try to hype it up for a little bit, and then once Lanterns crash and burns, then
Mhm.
that's it. But you know, funny thing is, it doesn't seem to be that James Gunn can just do whatever he wants because allegedly, allegedly, HBO turns down a V for Vendetta series that Gunny Poo was doing.
Thank God.
Now, I will confess, I've never seen the original movie.
What?
Yes, I know.
Come on, man. I'll send you my copy.
Oh, I'm sure I can watch it somewhere. I can have access to it on digital. I just haven't had time.
Yeah, I hear that.
But
Hey, you could always watch Pennyworth.
nah.
They had a V for Vendetta plot.
And then yes, and Havoc. Oh my God! Again, Batin. I know. Homework. And DC Studios reportedly abandons Elseworlds HBO series following Supergirl box office flop. So HBO has reportedly called it quits with one upcoming DC Studio show. So DC Studio plans for a V for Vendetta adaptation on HBO Max have reportedly suffered a major setback. DC Studios is much more than just James Gunn's DCU, as the studio is equally going all in on Elseworld projects, namely for HBO Max. Variety broke the news in November 2025 that James Gunn and Peter Safran would executive produce a new adaptation for a V for Vendetta for HBO Max. The series is the second adaptation of Alan Moore's work and a political revolution against dystopian fascist regime, found a 2005 modern classic starring Hugo Weaving and Natalie Portman, the one that Batman has not seen. According to Jeff Snyder, HBO Max passed on a script for DC Studios' V for Vendetta, written by Pete Jackson. The news comes after the studio's latest blockbuster, Supergirl, opened as a box office disaster and a critical disappointment, sparking concerns about potential shifts in the DC Studios slate. So, Snyder revealed that Jackson crafted a V for Vendetta as a period piece, while HBO was looking for a modern take on the DC Vertigo storyline. And there was something else interesting here I wanted to read. So, this article also points out that after DC Studios may hold off on any decisions about future shows until after Lanterns, which will provide a better indicator of interest in the blue brand on TV. That's kind of weird. I mean, I guess DC logo is blue, but I don't know. I've never heard it referred to that before. But the
Yeah.
studio is moving forward. Oh, see, this article is saying the studio is moving forward with the Gorilla Grodd documentary. So,
And you notice too that they're calling it the mockumentary, which is like, I think they said it was from like one of the writers of American Vandal, so it's just like they're really like striking while the iron is hot on that one. But anyway,
then projects like Booster Gold, Waller, and Paradise Lost may be in jeopardy, or at the very least, face an elevated risk of budget cuts. So, I don't know. To me, it really shows that Gunny Poo does not have all the power you think he does. Because yes, he can technically, the buck stops at him with DC, with him and Safran.
Mm-hmm.
But HBO Max can decide, hey, we don't want the show on our platform, because even though they're all under the same parent company, in general, subsidiaries under the same parent company, they still operate independently of each other. Like, it's not like HBO Max has to greenlight all the DC shows on their platform because they're both under Warner Brothers Discovery. They can still only want the best projects on their platform. And if they don't feel that this is good for their platform, they're going to say no. They can absolutely do that.
So here's my thing. I think that this is possibly them capitulating to Paramount in a sense of, see, this is why I wish you'd seen the movie. So the first movie came out during the Bush administration, right? And so many people were like, this movie came out at the perfect time because it's basically a direct statement against everything that's going on at the time with the Iraq War and everything. And this is a movie that needs to be made right now because we need to have this conversation about how government can be tyrannical, and we got to have people that are willing to stand up and do the right thing, even if it seems drastic or even terroristic. So I kind of feel like HBO or WB, which it's supposed to be Gunn, are maybe saying politically we can't do that because we're trying to get this Paramount merger approved.
Right. Yeah, because it was like, yeah, because because Jackson wanted the. Okay, because Pete Jackson was the writer for the show. Yeah, Pete Jackson wanted the period piece, whereas HBO Max wanted the modern take, and that makes. Well, yeah, I know that's in heaven, but what I'm saying is that HBO can still say we don't want the show on our platform. They don't have to put a show on. Like, the HBO Max business is still different than the DC Studios business, is all I'm saying. But yeah, that's a good point, because I mean, with who Ellison is friends with, I'll say it like that, I could kind of see why they might try to avoid a modern take on this. And I'll say this, I feel like even if it's not the intention, people are always going to associate the political climate, like a show with the political climate. Like, a lot of people were saying, like, Captain America: Brave New World, that Ross was like the president, and I'm like Trump, and I'm like, I feel like that's just being said right now because they're just trying to affiliate the political, like the current political world.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's so. I mean, there's still, like, even if you're not intending to do that, it's still kind of a risk, is all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, but I'm glad though to see that Gunny Poo is like that. People tell him no sometimes. I'm really glad to see that. Like, humblingly, he needs the setback. He needs the setback right now because I'm tired of the excuses for why Supergirl failed. It's every reason, but something that would hold Gunny Poo and Safran accountable. It's every reason under the sun, except for the fact that DC Studios just made a shit movie that people were not interested in.
Well, I still don't believe him when he says that he didn't have to cut anything to Superman. So it's like I fully believe there's probably another 30 to 45 minutes. Like, it's completely missing the scene where Mr. Terrific had to go and save, but find Crypto in the pet store. Like, and there's other scenes it's missing. So he lied about that. He still has to answer to the WB, like you guys are saying. So at the end of the day, yeah, he needs to be more humbled. He needs to be humbled out of Hollywood.
And do we really want a project on like V for Vendetta? Now, I know people hate that I say this, but it's true. I have not seen it, but I guess you've seen V for Vendetta. Do you think that's something that with Gunny Poo and Saffron's style would work for that kind of series?
Look, I recently, because everybody was doing it on the timeline, they're like top 16 comic book movies. It's on there. I love V for Vendetta. It's one of my favorite movies. Period. No, he couldn't do it. They could not do that. They could not do the subtlety of that movie. They could not do the complexity of the messaging. Um, I'm trying to think of because there's a subplot in the movie. There are two or three subplots in the movie where I'm trying to think if he's done anything like that in his filmography, and the closest thing I can think of is just like terrible toilet humor, and that scares me to think of him even trying to attempt that. And like have you read the comic?
No.
The movie, I think the movie's better, but that's just me. It's only because of the ending scene. Everything else I think is the same. But no, he can't. He doesn't know how to do anything seriously. He doesn't know how to do anything with any sort of genuineness.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. He is a one-trick pony. He knows comedy. He does well with comedy stuff that's meant to be comedy, but not the as serious as DC needs to get. And now I've heard about this, Frank C. I was looking for a definitive article about that, but yeah, the fact that he is not going to be at Comic-Con shows everything. Like you should be like if you're confident in your slate right now, you should be up there at Comic-Con hyping everything up. You're not doing that. So
Oh yeah, I think it was either him or Saffron said, yeah, it's too expensive to go to Comic Con now, so they're not going to be there. I could be wrong, but I swear I read that somewhere.
So your main like the main promotion, like that's promotion. They have nothing. They know they have nothing. They know there's no hype for DC anymore. They all know that. I mean, like V for Vendetta, the fact that like something like this got turned down, like HBO knows there's no hype for DC right now, and let's be honest, like HBO Max, they barely have any originals as it is right now.
No.
Like they're not, but they know there's certain things you don't want to. Like put it like this: you don't have a lot of originals right now, so that means the stuff you do have needs to be really good.
I can't think of a single original they have on there right now besides Peacemaker, and I could not care less.
Yeah, I know. I mean, now granted, my favorite movie is technically an HBO Max original, but that wasn't made as an HBO Max original, so.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
You know, Sin Havoc, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of this whole like not you, this isn't directed at you, but like this whole the next one will be better. Oh no, the next one will be better. No. The next one will be better. No, this one needs to be good. This one needs to make money. I'm tired of hearing next time because Black Adam was allowed to get next time. So I'm sorry, but DC Studios shouldn't get next time either.
Yeah. It's amazing how one person and one person alone at DC is allowed to fail upwards, and that's it. He can have time to mourn his dog, but Zack Snyder can't mourn his daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm not against someone getting to mourn his dog. Make no mistake, but it needs to be a two-way street here. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd be beside myself if my dog died, right? He doesn't care, but whatever, like exactly. But like Bad Dan said, it needs to go both ways. It just. Mm-mm.
Like if you're trying to say that we couldn't go forward with Dwayne Johnson's plan, which would involve bringing back the Snyderverse back because of like Black Adam not making as much money, despite the fact that they had to build trust, then you have to give the same thing to DC Studios. But
And I say the trust, like if we want to put it in terms of like a game or whatever, the clock started the second he became the head, and then he was part of 4 movies in 2023, and they all bombed.
Yeah, and he gave notes on them. He gave notes on them, so he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get to say those are before his time.
No,
because
so he has 9 bombs if you include TSS.
And honestly, I'll even be generous. Like, I would say the clock really started ticking once Henry Cavill was fired, because that's when he actually started doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the fact that, so we had all this hype, and the very first thing you did as head was take it away, take major hype away. I expect to see something amazing, and we just haven't. So I don't want to hear next time. I don't want to hear, like, no, it's over. It's clearly over for Gunny Poo. He knows this. HBO knows this. And, let's just say that my crazy out there theory, I feel like, is looking more and more true right now, even though there's no official hint of it yet. Let's just say, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But now, Paramount sells joint venture. Now, I think we talked about them doing this before, but now I think it's actually more like happening right now. So, hold on, my computer's not scrolling. Okay. Sorry, guys, my computer's being slow right now. Okay. So, Paramount set to exit Universal union approval of mega merger with Warner Brothers Discovery. So, Paramount its International Pictures distribution joint venture with Universal as a condition for European Union of its $111 billion takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery. The move is in response to a request for Paramount to exit the venture made by the European said on Wednesday that a regulatory filing in which Paramount's guidance affirms its commitment to pull out of United International Pictures has been submitted, adding that the new provision deadline for the Commission to reach a decision on approval of the mega merger has now been extended from July 7th to July 22nd. Oh, interesting. But just a little bit of United International Pictures. It was formed in 1991. It's based in London and has since been scaled back and is currently active as a distributor in several European territories, including Denmark, Greece, Croatia, Hungary, Norway, Poland, and Sweden. So we can confirm today that we have submitted a remedy to the European Commission. And I mean, I think that's definitely nice for them. Like, nice that they have to sell something, but I don't know. What's your thoughts on this? And what up, Leon?
Yeah, what up, Leon? I already did my salute. So, like, how come they just keep getting to extend these deadlines? Like, what like, especially over in Europe? Like, how is that possible?
Well, you know what? If it leads to them having to pay a bunch of money later on down the line, I'm okay with it. But I think my issue is that this isn't enough. Like, you need, like, I'm glad they're selling something, but I mean, it's hard, right? Because, like, basically the European Union, they only really have a say in how the business operates in their countries. They don't have a say in how the business operates in the United States. But it still feels like, though, having like Warner Brothers and Paramount under one umbrella in the European Union should still be a concern for them. But I mean, again, I mean, I don't know other countries' bylaws that much. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm in my American bubble sometimes, and I will admit that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to completely act like I know how it works in these other countries, because I'm sure I have some international viewers. If I get something wrong, they'll be like, Batman, you got this completely wrong. But I don't know. I'm just kind of relying on other countries to do the right thing here, because our DO Justice did not. So I just want to see more. All I'm saying.
So basically, they have part of Universal over in Europe that they have to now sell.
Well, not part of Universal per se, but like, you know how Hulu started as a joint venture with Disney, Fox, Warner Brothers, and basically this was a joint venture between Paramount and Universal. And now
Okay.
Paramount's selling its share. So I think from my understanding that Universal would own it outright. Or maybe
Okay.
Netflix will end up owning it outright later if certain things come to fruition. But
One can hope. Yeah, this is the first time I've heard about it. So
I mean, it's the first time I've heard of this too, honestly, but I kind of want to cover everything related to this merger. So, I mean, I'm glad out of principle they're getting some pushback at least.
yeah, no, I am too. Yeah, and like we talked about last time, like I was kind of surprised that the EU wasn't pushing back on this even further, like especially because we were saying, wasn't it like the EU was more, they were leaning towards like approving it more or something?
Yeah, that's what the article was saying, like what we talked about last week. But you know how news changes very quickly in like the span of a week, in the span of a day sometimes even right after I finish the stream.
Yeah,
I've had news become outdated. So,
yeah, because it was like I was saying last time. I feel like when you have a country like France who is so 100% like union based, like hell, it's the place where the guillotine was invented, like, and there's so many countries over there where it's just like they are all 100% based on like the 4-week workday and having workers' rights and all of that. It just kind of boggles my mind that they would approve it. So them selling the venture, like if with it getting delayed, like you said, if it costs them money, keep delaying it. Then I say,
yeah, exactly. My main issue is, oh, so now he's trying to close the deal by the 30th now. Okay, interesting. But I always have a saying, it's like delays spawn delays. Like, you know, when there's a major delay at the airport, you know, it's a 5-minute delay. And then it's a 20-minute delay. And then
mm-hmm.
it's not gonna, like, if you keep going up, it's gonna keep going up. It's gonna be a while before it truly stops getting delayed. And that's the thing with this merger. Well, it's not unfortunate if it stops them from actually stopping this merger and maybe putting more stipulations in, but I feel like though once you put in stipulations, unless they said, hey, this is all you need to do.
Right.
Because also they were also trying to get them to sell either Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. So they are getting them to sell stuff. Like, I mean, so I will say that, you know, it was Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. Now they have to sell part of this. So it does seem like the European Union is at least making them break up some of these assets a little bit.
Break up all of WB, make them keep all of the Discovery stuff. I don't know. Well, I don't, but it's like you said last week or last time. It's just like I don't want WB to get split up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, you know, like I said, we'll talk about my crazy out there theory again, but I don't necessarily want this theory to happen. I mean, I'd rather that theory happen as opposed to Paramount getting all of Warner Brothers Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
But I still rather Warner Brothers, like the way it was supposed to get split up with streaming and studios, I still rather that all stay together under a competent company like Netflix.
Yeah.
But But I would say with this joint venture, I mean, I'm glad that Europe is making them do stuff, at least. I'm glad they're making them do stuff to... Because I don't want Olsen to have this much power. I don't. I don't want anyone to have this much power in entertainment.
No, me neither.
And yeah, I agree. I agree. And why don't you just throw Warner Brothers Pictures and HBO and Looney Tunes in there? Throw in
Matrix.
Throw in the Matrix, HBO, Looney Tunes, Warner Brothers Pictures, and DC. Throw all that in there too.
No, I agree with TJ, because bowing down like that is just. Ugh.
Yeah, Sin Havoc. I know, but yeah. So I mean, again, it'll be interesting to see how this progresses, right? Because I think again, this merge, this sale of the joint venture is still contingent on this merger actually passing. Like, I think they still get to wait till they sell the merger, till the merger passes before they actually have to sell it, because they shouldn't have to sell. I mean, one thing I will say just in general, companies shouldn't have to sell all these assets only for a merger to not get approved.
Mm.
Not that I want to overly defend the big, not that I want to totally defend all the big corporations, but just because some corporations engage in injustice doesn't mean that we need to promote it. That's my only say with that. But yeah, I know, Leon. That's why I say some of those assets, they should sell some of those assets instead of sitting on the shelf collecting dust. But anyways, now, what I find really interesting now is in the United States, though, Oregon's stepping in. So, share screen again. Yes, fine. It's just and this is what we want to see. I want to see some of these states stepping in, because our federal government didn't really stop this, but again, what some people don't know is that the states have the power to stop this still. Just because the DOJ says this is good to go doesn't mean that the states have to get in line with that.
I'm gonna go check George's AG real quick while you do that.
Good idea. But if you do find anything, that will be the next topic, because I actually do want you to save that. But anyway, Paramount will not close its Warner Brothers deal before July 22nd, amid Oregon probe. So, Paramount has said that it will not close its $110 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers. And again, guys, I'm sorry, these articles are saying different numbers. I'm just reading the articles. Before July 22nd, the Oregon Attorney General's office said on Wednesday, pushing out the timeline for the deal's closure by an additional week. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield's office asked the court in Multnomah County on Wednesday to order the company to hand over records and delay the deal by 60 days so states can review them. Good. Paramount had previously told Oregon that it would not close the deal before July 16th. Rayfield's office said, at a preliminary hearing at the state's request on Wednesday, the company amended the timeline, his office said. Separately, Paramount has offered remedies to address European Union's competition concerns and a move that could... Yeah, we talked about that one. So...
spoiler alert.
Yeah, what do you think about this? Oregon stepping in.
I'm glad Oregon is, because I just checked, and of course the Georgia AG is just being, a racist like normal. So at least there's some good people out there. What's up, Curly Ray?
Oh, what up, where are you? Oh, there you are. What up, Curly Ray? We covered your little response from Zack Snyder earlier. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm good. I'm glad to seeing that some of these states are stepping in right now, because this is really huge, I think, because we need this. I again, I think the consensus on people who watch my channel don't want this to pass. And yeah, quite 11th hour. But I'm really glad to see this because, again, it's what I said earlier. Delays spawn delays. So July 22nd, but that's going to come up fast. I mean, if they're going to properly review documents, they may need more time, and they may put in some stipulations, stuff that they have to sell to make this a fair, so that fair trade can happen.
Sorry.
Aww.
Yeah, it's
So
a real
cute.
cat. Not a robot cat. Sorry.
He's so cute. Yeah, I love cats. I love animals.
Same
And sometimes
here.
although some cats are very like mood swings. Like there's one of my friend's cats who one day I visit, he's like, "Oh, I want to see you. I want to see you." The next day, it's like, "Okay, give me space. Give me space."
Yeah, they're all like that. I swear.
So you gotta learn to read their body language. That's all.
Mhm.
But again, I'm kind of that same way too. So I can't fault
Yeah.
cats for that. But yeah, I'm really glad to see finally some like Americans stepping in with this because this is an American company. I want to see Americans step in with this stuff. So I'm really glad to see that Oregon's not like, okay, guys, go ahead. We don't really need to look at this. No, you're actually stepping in and trying to make sure that this deal is fair.
Yeah, and they said by the 16th, so it's like that's a day after when they wanted to have it done. So it's just like even more of a reason that it's just going to keep getting delayed.
Now, Jamer, the only thing I will say with bribery is how much bribery, because they're broke. So, I mean, I'm not denying that bribery is a thing that happens, but you actually have to have money to do this bribery. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so I'm glad that that they're finally stepping in a little bit. I'm glad to see Oregon is stepping in and saying, "Hey, we need to actually review this." Because I mean, here's the thing too. What if they have to actually have David Ellison come in for a hearing?
Well, I
Can't
guess
keep ditching
somebody.
hearings forever.
How many family members does he have? Because how many times
Yeah.
can they die?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying. It's like, sure, maybe you got a delay, or maybe you got it, got out of it one time, but you can't keep getting out of it. You can't keep having excuses, fair or unfair.
Which, like, I hope that he does have to get like subpoenaed and go in, and then when they ask him, it's like, okay, so who actually died? And he's gonna be like, oh, it was my maid or my butler or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he was at CinemaCon.
Yep. He was at CinemaCon. So I'm just glad to see that. Like, I just think this is the first step, though. I think at the end of the day, this is just the first step. As I said, this is the dawn of the delays. Like, this is where it's kind of starting. That in Europe are causing delays to happen. Yes, thank you, Sin Havoc. One that's actually binding. One that means that if you can't make it this time, you reschedule it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, not that complicated. Can't come in this time?
Plus, too, it's like, God, I just had a thought, and cat made me lose it. Yeah. Oh no, but like, okay, so we've got 12 states, and then you've got to figure maybe we get 13, and then that makes 14, and so on and so forth. Like, eventually, this could turn into like a class action sort of lawsuit
Yes.
type of thing.
And plus, you got to think of, like, not all the states are major players in the film and TV industry.
Right.
Like, not
Like,
all states are necessarily.
But
Like,
Oregon, I
I
don't
mean,
think is.
well, I guess supposedly they are. I didn't think they were, but I guess there was actually some concern with Oregon. But
Maybe like Twilight or something back in the day.
again, this is just the first step to me. There's still, in terms of the United States, I should say, right? Because I mean, I know Europe's and UK are doing stuff now, but in the United States, Oregon's stepping in, and now other states allegedly are going to sue next week.
There you go.
So, yeah. So, and again, it's Friday, so it's Friday, July 10th. So we'll see. I mean, it's kind of like what I said with streams. They become outdated, or they become outdated very quickly because news evolves and changes. And wait, did I post in the wrong article on this? Okay. So I posted the wrong article in my chat. So give me a few minutes. But I guess, so what exactly did Atlanta say?
No, literally, the guy hasn't said anything. He's just he's like I mentioned last time. He is endorsing the owner of a health insurance company who owns a 47,000 square foot house here in Georgia as the next governor. So that's he's
Oh,
literally he's literally tweeted about that, and he's tweeted about uh, black people that he's helped get arrested. So it's like, okay, we get it, dude. You're racist. Like I didn't vote for you.
okay. So,
Doesn't really care about all the jobs
yeah.
that got brought here.
So, okay. So, okay, hold on. There we go. I found the article I was looking for. Yeah, so I'll get that fixed. I'll get that fixed in the description and post-production. But technical issues on... Okay, great. Good to know that. So, U.S. states could soon... Okay,
I hate
really?
CAPTCHA.
Okay. Let's try this again now. U.S. states could sue next week to block Paramount Warner Brothers deal, sources say. So, U.S. states concerned with that Paramount's $110 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery will hurt competition, could sue to block the deal as soon as next week. And this article is dated July 8th. It is July 10th right now, so this is the same week as the article. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has taken the lead in investigating whether the deal violates U.S. laws against mergers that would unlawfully harm competition. A spokesperson for Bonta's office declined to comment. A Paramount spokesperson did not immediately respond a request to comment. So, the deal, which would combine two of Hollywood's 4 major studios, has drawn criticism from actors, writers, and others in Hollywood who fear job loss. Theater owners oppose the combination of Warner Brothers movie studios, makers of the Harry Potter and Superman films, with Paramount Pictures, have expressed concern the merger would result in fewer movies, narrowing consumer choice, and eroding competition. Paramount has said combining forces with Warner Brothers would allow the media company to tackle mounting competition for audiences, talent, and investment. Paramount CEO David Ellison has sought to assuage the concerns of theater owners, saying the combined film studio would release 30 movies a year. Yeah, right. If the deal is delayed because of a court challenge, costs could mount for Paramount, which is already expected to carry around $80 billion in debt after the transaction closes. Olsen has agreed to pay Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders a 25% share ticking fee amounting to about $650 million in cash each quarter if the deal does not close before October. In early June, Reuters reported California, New York, and other U.S. states were preparing lawsuits as state officials look to step up their scrutiny of the big merger and acquisitions as federal antitrust authorities have loosened their reins. So, next week, let's see what happens, is what I'll say to that.
Yeah, I went to check the. It's been a while since I've checked the amount of signatures on that signature list. It's up to almost 6,000 at this point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking about was something I think Sin Havoc and maybe Leon pointed out was I don't know if it's different for Hollywood as it is with other people, but like the fiscal maybe you know, but like is the fiscal year the same for every industry?
That's a good question. Let's see. Fiscal year for Hollywood. Because it is different for like every company. Well, the fiscal year, the city. Oh, come on. No, I don't mean Hollywood, Florida. Hold on. Like, serious? Okay, fiscal for Hollywood, California. The fiscal year of Hollywood, California runs from July 1st to June 30th. Because of Hollywood is a neighborhood within the city of Los Angeles. It follows the city of Los Angeles budget calendar. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, I was just curious because I know the fiscal year just ended. See you, Curly Ray. Just ended for like Microsoft and Sony, and I know like the bloodbath with that, and I'm just wondering if that would affect, Paramount and WB in any way.
So Paramount's fiscal quarter is January 1st to December 31st. So it has like their fiscal year is the calendar year.
Okay, that makes sense then. I was just curious then because it would be something when you're saying next week. I was just curious if there was a reason why they were all of a sudden wanting to jump in now, and if there was a reason why they were trying to get this done before the 15th.
Yeah, I don't. That's a good point. Yeah, I can think of it in that regard. Maybe just they still want to have a timeline just to make sure, because I know it's like by October is when they really need to have it done, so they don't have to pay money to the shareholders.
Right.
But
yeah,
I know Sin
That's
Havoc. I know
fair.
every business is different. But I mean that's what I'm. But I'm glad to hear that the states are starting next week, and I hope because again I want to see delays. I want to see subpoenas. I want to see stuff that David Ellison can't get out of.
Right. Like I said, that domino effect.
Yes, exactly. Because eventually it's going to get to the point where it's going to cost too much money for David Ellison. That he's either going to have to sell off assets to make this pass quickly to the point that maybe it's not as much of a threat, or he's going to have to say bye to Warner Brothers. Like, I just don't see, because I've said this from the beginning. I've said this from when Netflix was getting Warner Brothers, is that Ellison should focus on what he has, because yeah, you got Warner Brothers, but you're going to destroy your own company to get it. So I forgot victory that costs too much. So the term is a Pyrrhic victory. I mean, that's what I said. This was for Ellison. This is a Pyrrhic victory because yes, they got Warner Brothers. Sure, great, they got Warner Brothers, but now you're paying all this money to get this to go through. It's going to cost you so much money. Is it really worth it?
And then on top of that, like when I was checking out all of the movies they've released this year, is like Scream 7 and Scary Movie are the only ones that have done well. Everything else is bombed. Absolutely everything else.
like, I care more about the quality of movies than the quantity of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to see I want to see a lot of movies, yes, but I don't want to see 30 shit movies.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Is like when I was trying to figure out, okay, are they going to actually release the 15 that they said they were going to? And they do get the 15. I had not heard of like 13 of these movies, like, or excuse me, 12 of these movies. And like, okay, the Primate movie, I'd heard of it because the trailer was everywhere. I didn't know that was Paramount. And then like Passenger, same thing, everywhere because, but didn't know it was Paramount. Everything else, it's like I know about the Billie Eilish concert documentary because it's James Cameron, and at this point, he keeps sticking his foot in his mouth, and I've just like
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with him.
Mm-hmm. Avatar was overrated, anyways.
Don't Dill Cozy.
I know, and Skywalker doesn't like it when I say that either. Also, when I say In-N-Out Burger is overrated too.
See, I've never had it, but it doesn't look that great to me. It looks like Sonic.
We have Culver's, but I prefer Culver's, which you have a
We
lot
have
of here.
Culver's too.
Wisconsin.
Culver's is great.
Oh right, yeah, yeah, and much better. And it's a Wisconsin-based chain, so we have a lot more by where I am. I think it's a Wisconsin-based chain. Hold on a second.
I'm 99% sure it is.
Yeah, it is based in Wisconsin, which I should have known without looking up because I have a lot of Wisconsin ties. But anyways, so I'm hoping this is the first domino to fall. I'm really hoping this is because this is what I wanted to see. I don't want to hear talk about states suing. I want them to actually sue. I don't want to hear talk. Talk means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, talk is whatever. I want action. Action.
Yeah, I just hope it's a matter of them all getting all the necessary paperwork and, you know, everything they need to make sure it's a slam dunk case. Like I hope that is the reason why it's taking so long, and that's the only reason.
Which would make sense because I also, at the same time, I don't want them to rush into a lawsuit that the judge throws out. That's also
Right.
not good either. So,
Yeah.
and for the record, Sin Havoc, I do meal prep. I meal prep every weekend, but once in a while, I do eat out, especially on Fridays because I like to treat myself on Fridays. I work hard during the week. I like to treat myself.
Treat yourself.
But yeah, I mean, there's shit streaming service that is like impossible to watch anything on. That one, like, but yeah. So I think this kind of leads to this: what this means for Warnermount, because this is the big thing, right? Because they're selling their joint venture in the European Union. They're now got Oregon stepping in and possibly other states next week. What does this mean for Warnermount? What do you think?
I think this is the sign or the beginning of the end, hopefully. I hope that this, I hate to keep using this word because we keep using it, but I hope this is like the first domino and that it keeps going. And like, this is where the foundation begins to crumble. And like, I hope this means that soon we can stop saying Warnermount and that it's eventually just, it's like, oh, remember when that nearly happened? It's like, yeah, that was crazy. Because
Yeah.
this, I think there's too many things pointing against it, and I think there's too many things, adding up to where it's like you've got part of Europe, you've got part of the U.S. Like, how many more signs do you need?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And that's what I think too. I think this means one of two things. I think this means the beginning of the end for Warnermount, or this means, well, three things. I think that this is the beginning of the end for Warnermount. They're going to have to sell off so many assets that we're not going to be concerned about the merger, which will get into my crazy out there theory again next. Or, at least for the Snyderverse, they'll have no choice but to license out projects because they're in so much debt right now because of all these delays that they need quick cash instantly. And with DC Studios not looking good, they're going to have to sell off some assets. But I have big concern. But I've said before, and I'll say it again, I have bigger concerns about this merger than just the Snyderverse. Yes, the Snyderverse is part of it, a big part of it, but there's other stuff at play here. So I do think that this is not good for Warnermount, and I think this is good for people who are against this merger. I do think that. I don't think this is like absolutely 100% going to. Well, hopefully, Sin Havoc. Hopefully, the merger is blocked way before 2028, and Netflix closes with Warner Brothers way before 2028. So that's my hope. But we'll see. We'll see. But I do think, though, that this is not going to be the slam dunk that Olsen and all like the Paramount supporters thought it was going to be. It's not. And I do think that this is going to be a challenge for Ellison. I mean, I want to say that this is going to absolutely be blocked and that Ellison's going to have to back out or maybe settle with just what was going to be the Discovery Global Partners business, that end. And sell like the Warner Brothers streaming and studio business to Netflix. Like, I think that's the only way that, like, I would love to say that, but I can't always predict what my heart and what my brain wants, okay? Or what my heart hopes for and what my brain thinks is going to happen, because those are two separate things. Like, my heart wants Paramount to, if this goes through, wants Paramount to just restore the Snyderverse, but my brain is like, they haven't shown any signs whatsoever of doing this. So, I mean, I'm not going to lie and say this absolutely means that this is going to stop Warnermount. No, it doesn't mean that. But I do think this is the step in the right direction to stop Warnermount.
All right.
So, we'll see what happens with this. I mean, we will. We don't, I mean, like I said, I can't guarantee, the only thing guaranteed in life is change and death. That's it. Nothing else is guaranteed. So I would love to say that this is going to stop, and I hope this is, and this is the right direction for this to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But I think time will tell next week. Like, I think next week, I think we're going to get a lot more interesting stuff happening next week. Like, but I do think we may hear stuff next week about selling off assets. More assets than what, because I want to see some of the assets sold in the United States. I want to see the United States saying sell off some of these assets. Not just like your control of Nickelodeon Cartoon Network in Europe, but like outright sell this. Sell Cartoon Network as a whole in the United States to Netflix. Sell other stuff to, sell some stuff to Universal. Yeah, Sin Havoc, I get that some of these Snyder fans are doing that, but, like, the Saudi Arabia government is not a hive mind. This is what people need to realize. Just because Zack Snyder has a good relationship with one Saudi Arabian person does not mean that all of a sudden everyone from Saudi Arabia is like, we work with Zack Snyder, we have to do this. Like, no, that's not how that works, guys, okay? I'm looking at the actions of the companies that were buying it, not like this hope of Saudi Arabia.
And just like Stephen Amell, the Turkey guy is not that great of a person. But if people would just do a little bit of research, they would stop championing this guy. But they want their action figures to bash each other. But I'm not. I don't want to get into it.
And Jamar, I think technically speaking, like Warner Brothers has control over it, but J.K. Rowling also has control over it. Like when they sold the Harry Potter theme park rights to Universal, J.K. Rowling has a big say in that too, not just Warner Brothers. So I don't know how that would work exactly, but I'm pretty sure J.K. Rowling would have a bit of a say in what happens with Harry Potter. Oh, I know you do, Sin Havoc. I know you do. I wasn't accusing you. I was just debunking the logic of some of these Paramount Snyder fans. And again, want to make no mistake, guys. I want Paramount to restore the Snyderverse if they get Warner Brothers. Okay, I want them to do the Snyderverse. Assuming they have the money to do it. I'm talking about what I think, not what I hope. Those are not the same thing. So, like, again, and I think this kind of goes to my crazy out there theory. Because I've been thinking about this since I first said it last week, right? I mean, you say a theory, you talk about it, you have a week to think about it, though. You're like, okay, how would some of this stuff work? Like, one thing I said was the movies, right? Warner, it would just simply be so for those of you who didn't see the stream last week, my crazy out there theory was Netflix is going to get Universal because they split. I don't think that part is the crazy part so much, so we're not really going to talk about that so much. But the big part is that Netflix, just a cough.
Oh.
I was holding it, though, so I could mute the mic on time.
Okay.
But the other part of it is that Netflix is going to get DC as a whole. Is because they're going to be in a hurry to close this merger, Olsen is, so they're going to sell major assets to get this to pass. With Warner Brothers clearly having no direction for DC, needing big money to pay off the debt, and needing to close this thing fast, they're going to have to sell major assets. Mm-hmm. And DC would do that. And we'll talk. Yeah, I could see that happening too, but I still think they would not mind buying a company like Universal. But anyways. But basically, yeah, is that to get this merger to close fast, they would sell DC, and then a company like Netflix, hopefully Netflix, would get it. Netflix would, I don't want to say hopefully, like I'm pretty confident that if Warner Brothers were to sell the DC IP as a whole, that Netflix would scoop them up. I definitely think that would be Netflix. Yeah. Like, that's not even a debate, but.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the theory. And one thing I said is that in part of the series that Warner Brothers would sell all the movies with DC, like the DC movies to Netflix too. Like, that's how that would work. They would kind of like how Disney now has the rights to the Paramount Marvel movies.
Okay. I didn't know that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe something like that, because you can watch all the Phase 1 Marvel movies on Disney Plus.
Oh, right.
So it'd be something. Wait, hold on a second. Does Disney own distribution rights to Phase 1 of MCU? Yeah, so Disney purchased the remaining. Yeah, they purchased the rights from Paramount in 2010 and 2013. So basically, it'd be something like that, where they would get the assets of the DC films too. But there would be some logistical issues with that. And one major example is Scooby-Doo. What I mean by that, Scooby-Doo has a lot of crossovers with DC. I have joked that Scooby-Doo is basically part of the DC universe. So if they sell DC separately from the IP, how would that work with the Scooby-Doo movies? Because you got Scooby-Doo and Crypto, the original Scooby-Doo meets Batman, the new Scooby-Doo meets Batman with Brave and the Bold. And they even have, a lot of people don't know this, I've only seen clips of this, but there's actually a Scooby-Doo Halloween special that has Scarecrow in it. Not Batman, not anyone else from DC, but they have Jonathan Crane. And he's from Arkham, he's from Gotham. This is the DC Scarecrow, and DC is credited in this movie.
How old is this?
The Scooby-Doo Halloween special with Scarecrow. It's called Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo. And there's an episode of Scooby-Doo Halloween. So this movie I'm talking about came out in 2020.
Oh, okay. Because I remember the old ones, with the Globetrotters and Batman and all that.
Yeah, that was the original DC crossover with. But I guess Scooby-Doo's done a lot more modern crossovers with Batman in recent years, capitalizing off the popularity of that one. But Like, how would, like, there would be some logistical issues with that. Like, how would that work? Like, who owns those movies? And, the Lego Batman, like the Lego movie, that's Warner
Hmm.
Brothers, but it has Batman in it. And then the Lego Batman movie has other non DC characters that are Warner Brothers characters in it, like Voldemort and Sauron. And, like, how would that work? And Space Jam 2, I think, has DC characters in it. So, the logistics of some of these crossovers they would have to figure out, but it doesn't make it impossible. But I do think that is a logistical issue worth noting with that.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of thinking, though, with everything that we've talked about today, that this series is looking even better than I thought before. Again, for disclaimer, I'd rather DC remain with Warner Brothers under competent leadership.
Yep.
But if Paramount absolutely is going to get Warner Brothers, I still rather DC as a brand gets saved at least. That's like the consolation. So I want to make sure I'm clear on where I stand with all this. And if Netflix gets Universal and DC has a theatrical engine, or I guess they get their own studio, whatever. But I think that, and then, and that's it too. Netflix could buy the Cartoon Network shows too, and I don't know where Hanna-Barbera falls in all this too, but
Yeah, that would be interesting too, because that's another thing that it's funny you mentioned Scooby-Doo, because then like Space Ghost, and I'm not even talking about like OG Space Ghost. I'm talking about the talk show where they just like, you know, intermingled like the old Hanna-Barbera stuff uh, with Space Ghost, and then didn't they reboot Space Ghost, and then it was either a different comic brand, but it may have ended up being DC. Like IP rights are so weird, man. Because, but like, yeah, I do think Cartoon Network would be absolutely perfect for Netflix, as would DC. Like, again, WB and Netflix just makes the most sense to me.
oh yeah, same here. I absolutely think that, but unfortunately, if that Warner Brothers shareholders thought Paramount's deal was superior, I think it's stupid that they did. But
Hmm.
anyways, I'm still thinking though. I mean, because here's the thing: regardless of all these challenges, they would figure it out. Like it might be a simple issue, like the Scooby Doo stuff. Like they'll own the distribution rights to those movies, and then but they can't. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Like that has Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny in it. And I think Roger Rabbit is actually not a Disney-owned character either. That was just a licensing thing too. But like my point with that, Disney still owns the rights to that movie, but they don't own rights to Roger
But
Rabbit or the Looney
yeah,
Tunes. Like they don't have those rights, but they can still show that movie. But
yeah,
so it could be something like that where Warner Brothers might have the rights to the Scooby Doo movie and the Lego movie, but DC would have the rights to the Lego Batman movie and whatever crossover characters are involved. They just can't make new movies with those characters. So I don't know how that would all. So it'd be something like that, but. Yeah, I know, Jamar, I know. But anyways, I've kind of gone on that tangent too long. I just wanted to again address issues because again, I'm an honest content creator. But I'm thinking though that this deal is looking more likely to happen because again, like Oregon's suing. All these other states are suing too. And you're going to have to sell off assets very quickly to get this deal to pass. And DC, and to me, you're gonna have to sell major assets, not minor stuff. And with them not having a plan what to do with DC anyways, selling the asset might be a perfect idea. Because as Leon says, he didn't say that with DC specifically, but well, I don't know, Sin Havoc. I'm thinking like by some of Ellison's deadlines that he says.
see, DC Talks has got the same idea.
Yeah, and I do want to talk. I'll probably talk more about that Netflix thing that they're talking about, but I want to kind of wait for that to develop before I cover that too much on this channel because I know there's some stuff developing with that. But you're gonna have to sell. Like DC might just be sitting on the shelf. That could potentially happen. Like just Batman movies, but not have a real idea with DC. Whereas Netflix has an idea with DC. They were gonna do the Snyderverse. That was very clear with the promotion they were doing.
Mhm.
So selling off DC to close this thing fast, close this thing, we'll say by October. Sin Havoc, let's say by October. Let's say by October, so Olsen doesn't have to pay those shares, those 25 cents per share issue. If you want to sell major assets, DC's a major asset. Let's be honest, that's one of Warner Brothers' biggest assets right now. So they may have no choice but to get that thing to sell.
Now, if that's the case, where they can't sell until after they get cleared, they're going to have to back out of the deal.
Well, Sin Havoc, can they not like make deals to sell the ass? Well, I guess I get what you're saying because like if let's say the shareholders agreed to it, if they, like because if you sell enough assets, if the shareholders might say, "Hey, is this deal worth it anymore?" Because we agreed to this deal with these assets in mind. So again, I could see that being a possibility too. But I do think that if you want to close this thing fast, whatever you have to do to make this work, whether it's like getting the shareholders to approve it, I don't know. I mean, sorry guys, I'm just reading some of these comments right now, but I guess I've been talking. What's your thoughts on this crazy theory?
No, I mean, I agreed with it last time. I agree with it now. I think that if anything, yeah, it makes the most sense that if they're going to have to basically raise funds, because no matter how you slice it, they're going to be, upwards of $115 billion in debt or something like that. Like, if you can go to Netflix and be like, for let's say 25 billion, because they've got to be, it's somewhere between 10 to 15 billion dollars just for the IP. That's just the IP. But then you got to pay another, let's say 10 billion for all of the films that have already been made or something like that. Then yeah, sell DC for $25 billion, right? And then you could sell, Game of Thrones or Harry Potter. Well, you were saying that maybe J.K. Rowling already owns it, Harry Potter. I don't know.
It's a little confusing. It's like
Yeah.
like Warner Brothers like owns the film rights. Like so I think like Universal, for example, they had for the theme parks, they had to pay J.K. Rowling and Warner Brothers. It's Yeah, I know Sin Havoc. I know. I mean, that's a thing. So, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying this is a theory. This is why it's a crazy out there theory.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, that is a good point. Paramount might say, wait a minute. We wanted this too. We agreed to this. So, it's titled Hogwarts IP? Really? Okay.
I guess that makes sense with the game and everything.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
But
and
like,
like Fantastic Beasts doesn't have Harry Potter in it, so.
well, that's the thing. It's just start selling everything piecemeal to make up the money, because they're going to have to make up money. It's a sinking ship. And if that's the case, then yeah, like, I don't know how much Universal was, but like, and Cartoon Network could be dirt cheap, which is sad to say at this point. But like, you know, go
Yeah.
out, get as many things as you can.
And like certain things, like I know what Sin Havoc is saying, and maybe maybe that's why my crazy out there theory happening before the merger closed. Maybe that's one debunk of that logic is that, but like Cartoon Network probably isn't really that big of a deal to the investors, as sad as it is to say.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know, and maybe Olsen may have to smooth talk the investors a little bit too, like. Maybe he might say something like, hey, we can maybe get more money out of this because we'll get some money out front, and then I don't know. So I don't know. I still think Sin Havoc did point out a hole in my theory. I will admit that, but I still think it is possible. I still think it's possible because you're gonna want the deal to go fast, and also Paramount and Skydance weren't supposed to merge either, or weren't supposed to get something else so quickly after merging. So just because something shouldn't work out that way doesn't mean it won't work out that way. So, nothing really new happened, honestly, since last week, but I'm just saying, I think this will really come into play more next week, depending on how these lawsuits go.
Yeah.
So,
but
we'll see what happens.
It goes back to your point, though, and it goes back to the bigger point of what a lot of us have been saying. What DC should have been doing this entire time, multiverse, it's right there. You can do Snyderverse at one company, you could do another universe at another company. There's no reason why you can't sell the Snyderverse to one company, and why you couldn't have, Universal could still end up having Snyderverse rides if they ended up getting that,
For theme parks.
Yeah.
Which,
when you go back to your crazy theory.
Oh, right, with Netflix and Universal, right? If Netflix buys Universal and DC, yeah, yes,
yeah.
So and plus, I think Universal has the rights to the Lego franchise now? I think it was Warner Brothers before, and now it's Universal.
Lego. God, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Yeah, because
Island Blue Adventure.
Because the rights, since Lego's a Danish company, it's like a license right for films, so it expired with Warner Brothers. Now Universal gets it. They could do a Lego Batman too if Netflix gets both Universal and DC. So, and maybe the Phantom Zone would have all sorts of different characters. So now instead of Voldemort and Sauron, now it's a T-Rex and
Vin Diesel
and Lord. Yeah, Vin Diesel and any of the bad guys from the DreamWorks movies. So one that's like Lord Farquaad.
Oh, I thought you were talking about bad guys. I don't remember. I don't know who owns that.
Universal owns DreamWorks.
No, I mean the film Bad Guys.
Oh, if it's a DreamWorks film, who owns Bad Guys film?
But
DreamWorks Animation.
Well, there you go. But Bad Guy or Farquaad would be great. Shrek would be great. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, we'll see what happens. Again, Sin Havoc did point a hole in this theory live on stream. You saw that. That did happen. Not gonna lie. But I do think that if Ellison needed to do this to get this deal to go through, I think he would find a way to smooth talk the shareholders. Because the shareholders are all that matter. And if they want this deal fast, then... And especially, too, from the shareholders' perspective, DC's a sinking ship right now.
Yeah.
They might find it better off getting money up front for it as opposed to holding on to the IP. It's okay, Sin Havoc. It's okay. So... nothing really too new happened with this from last week. I just kind of wanted to talk about this again because we talked about it last week. We had time to really think about it, let it, sleep on it, do our stuff, and then come back to it. So I just wanted to kind of go over it again. But I will probably go over this a few times depending on how the merger is looking, because I do think this is worth noting. So we'll see what happens. I think next week's going to be the real test. Anything else you want to say to that?
No, but I still think your theory is cool. I think it's awesome that the idea of them getting Universal and then possibly anything else from this whole debacle, you know, like, chocolate and your peanut butter, why not? If anything good can come from it, that's what I mean. Like, I think it's a cool theory.
Thank you. And in terms of Universal, I mean, that one I don't really think is the crazy out there theory part. I mean, that one's like, if they don't get Warner Brothers, they're going to go for Universal, guys. Let's be honest here. That's not even. I barely even consider that a theory. That's just common sense to me. But
Yeah.
But it's like the DC part of it. That's the part that's the crazy out there part. So
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. We will see what happens, and we will talk about this stuff as it goes on. Like I said, this is evolving news. This news evolves. Again, this stream could become outdated tomorrow. Well, it's the weekend, so maybe we'll say Monday, right? We could get big news on Monday that I don't know, that California said no, and David Ellison said, "Fine, I give up. This is too hard." That could happen,
Never know.
but what helps with real estate? Just saying, it's like, and I've done this too, Son Havoc. You respond to a comment, I respond to a comment, and then it becomes unclear what the comment responds to. But anyways, what do you have coming up that you want to promote, Smackey?
Not a whole lot, man. This was the first time I've had the webcam out in years. Oh, he means theme parks. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get my streams going again. Might try to stream some with Cozy if I don't. Do you game at all?
I haven't gamed in a while. Like I have a PlayStation 5, and yes, I bought it before some of this news came out, but
Thank God.
and I
uh,
have the disc version, but anyway.
yeah, I mean, if you ever want to play with us, that'd be cool. Anything cross-platform or cross-play. We'd love to have you on there. Yeah. So yeah, that, or I'll be on Cozy's uh, gameplays, or any of his spaces, or if you guys want me on as a guest, I'll be there. And if I get my stream up and going, I'll make a link, and I'll put it out there and let you guys know. But yeah, I really do appreciate you having me on there. It's always a blast.
Anytime. I always love having you on, and it was really great seeing you not as a logo. So absolutely. Yeah, anytime. And I'm excited to have you on. And coming up on this channel, I will cover this news as more happens, because this is an evolving story, and I'm gonna try to get some Batman's thoughts out there, some traditional Batman's thoughts. I'm not gonna lie, I've been really busy lately, and I do get exhausted sometimes. That does happen. So some of these short videos that I have to edit that I say are gonna happen sometimes don't actually happen, because I have a day job, which fortunately means I get busy and don't always have time to do all the things I plan on doing. So I will say, though, we will get more streams. That will definitely happen. So be on the lookout for that. And guys, if you like this stream, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great discussions such as these. And on that note, any final words, Smackey?
Give your boy a follow, a like, a subscribe, and yeah, and get some rest, Batman. You deserve it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And on that note, have a bat-tastic day.